Hello, good day, everyone. Good day. Let me get my stream set up here. Hello. Welcome to Ask the Marshal. It is Friday. Of course, happy Halloween. Got a big day here. Got lots going on here. And it's Halloween. And we're going to watch the Blue Jays win the World Series tonight is what our plan is. So I'm super excited. Thanks for joining me here. Today we're going to be talking about doing some real estate investing and one of the most common methods that is used. So welcome everyone from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and of course TikTok. So welcome. Any comments you have, please add below, and then I'll try to get to them as we kind of move along. But today what I'm talking about we're talking about investing. We're talking about the BRRRR, the buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and then repeat. So it's a super common strategy used by a lot of investors. A really important one, ultra important one that works, okay? And this can be used in any market, and it's working in this market right now. I have clients, we're doing it right now, where we're finding deals, we're renovating some properties, and we're able to rent them out. And then, of course, we go to the bank and refinance. So it's really great. I'm going to show you a brief example in terms of how that works here today to give you a bit of an idea. And then post your comments below. And I do have a couple things that I really want to show you, which I think will really make your investing journey much better if you're not already doing this. So, and Brantford investors are still making money every month. And I'm going to prove that to you. I'll show it to you. And if you think you need a ton of cash to invest, you're wrong. Okay, this is how a lot of investors were moving our money on a constant basis, and regularly moving that money in and out. Okay, text invest to me at 226-400-7322, and I'll give you my BRRRR Analyzer Spreadsheet, so you have a copy of that. I want to make sure that you're fully prepared. You can analyze some of these deals and to really help you out. So once again, our BRRRR strategy, like I mentioned, is you buy the property, you renovate the property, you rent it, you refinance it, and then you repeat the process, okay? And the goal is that we're doing some value creation in the property, and then we're gonna get the bank to lend on the new value, okay? Now, once you go ahead and do that, you can also still have the cash flow at the end, so the property does cash flow, and you got your initial or most of your initial investment out. So it's phenomenal. I often call it the real estate triple play with a lot of clients of mine. That's what we wanna do. We want to go ahead and buy this property. We want to renovate it, rent it out, refinance it, and then repeat. Just give me a thumbs up or even send me a comment. Any investors out there that are doing this or have done this in the past, give me some comments. Let me know. Let me know some of your thoughts. This is one of my prime reasons, prime things that I do, okay, personally. So it works great. It works great. So got the chat going here. All right. So here, okay, moving along here. Let's just dive into some of the numbers so I can give you a bit of a flavor in terms of what's happening and how you roughly structure this. And I'm going to give you a real life example of a deal that I just did, that I'm doing right now, that I have a client that is doing this, okay? So for example, we got a property that we found. It was actually an off-market deal that I had. Somebody wanted to get rid of it. Great. Property needs lots of work. Big problem with bad tenants, okay? So we went ahead and we bought the property for $375,000, okay, here in the Brantford market. So our prediction and our expectation is the renovation is going to cost about $90,000 to renovate it and to get everything done. And that's going to include the closing costs and expenses also. So $90,000 as the investment. And then I also expect that the after repair value, or what's called the ARV, is about $585,000. Okay, so the ARV is about 585. So when we take that, and the process with the BRRRR is We know that our after repair value is going to be $585,000. When we refinance that, we can refinance that to about 80% of the appraised value. Okay, so that's going to leave us with roughly about $117,000 that we can pull back out of the deal. Okay, that's going to be 80% of our ARV. Now, we're going to get that back, and at the end of the day, we're going to be left with $0 in the deal. Okay, pretty awesome. There's not going to be any money left in the deal. So this one here is going to work out great for my investor because they're going to get their initial down payment and their expenses pulled out of the property. Now, when we take this and we rent this out, this is going to go ahead and it's going to cash flow at about $200 a month. Okay, because we're going to take it, we're going to be duplexing it, splitting it into two separate units, and then they're going to, at the end of the day, going to cash flow at about $200 a month. Okay, I'll go through those numbers another day with you, so I have more time, and I'll break down that duplex numbers and the investment there on that side. But so it's still going to cash flow, and they get their initial investment out. Okay, now a lot of people, when they initially start investing, they want something that is low energy, low effort, and they just think about buying it and renting it out and looking at cash flow alone. That's all fine and dandy, but if you can go ahead and get something like this where you get your money back out, pretty awesome. Okay, pretty awesome. Now, so I'm going to run through it now. I always like I'm going to run those same numbers with you, and I'm going to go backwards now because this is how I always think, and I think that a lot of investors need to think about the deal. Okay, so how you have to think about the deal is you want to run those numbers backwards. So what we've got here is we've got a property that I know that when is renovated, is duplexed, and all done. We'll get an ARV of about $585,000 to $600,000. So I'm using 585 because I'm certain that's where it's going to be. Obviously, we're going to be trying for some more. Okay, so we're going to get our appraisal in at 585 as a number that we pegged. Okay, we know that we're going the renovation is going to cost about $90,000. Okay, so we back those numbers out. And then we got to decide on in terms of what we can actually purchase the property for. Okay, so makes sense. So run the numbers back. 585, we roll that back. 495 is our quick number in terms of what we have invested. After that, take off our 375, and that's going to be our renovation amount. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's how this is just my quick math that I run through with people. What's our ARV? What's the renovation going to cost? How much are we going to purchase it for? And then we know what we're going to be able to pull back out of the deal. Okay. Now I've got clients that are doing this on a regular basis, and in this market, I have people that are not investing, and I keep trying to tell people, to me, this is the market where we invest. Okay, this is where we find motivated sellers. We find investors that are looking for deals, and the deals are out there. I can promise you that. Okay. So my question for you is, what is the return on your investment once you do that? Once you buy the property, once you renovate it, and then you refinance it, and you get all your money back that you have into the deal, what's your return? Let you think about that for a minute. Okay. Your return on your investment is, of course, infinite, right? Your return is infinite because you got all your money out of the deal, and the rest is borrowed from the bank. Okay, just a concept I would just want you to understand and want you to know, because this is how I like to explain to people. This is how we take one investor, and we can get them into 10 deals. We can get them into 5 deals. Okay. Now, of course, people are going to say to me, "Well, Adam, they have to qualify for the mortgages." Yes, that's true, no doubt. They have to qualify for all the mortgages. So that is certainly a component. But this is where I also want to strongly suggest to people. This is where we also want to talk about joint venture partners. We want to talk about perhaps family partnerships. We want to talk about perhaps creating corporations and getting a little bit deeper into how to structure it to get the financing that you need over the long haul so you can get to those 10 properties. Okay, or more. or more. I mean, I have clients of mine that we've helped, and they're doing big deals, big deals. They started with a small duplex, and now we've gone to big deals. So it's pretty exciting to see. Post your comment below. Also, text me here on my phone number, as you see below, for my BRRRR Analyzer Spreadsheet. Okay, just fire that over, text it over. I'll send the guy to send it over to you. Let me just drop this into Instagram. Okay. And post any comments that you have. Post any comments, any questions that you have. And I'd like to be able to get some of these answered as we're kind of going live here. Bear with me as I look at my list of comments on my Instagram. Okay. Or TikTok. I'm not seeing them here right now. Okay. Post your comments below. Post any questions that you have. I have a couple other questions that have been sent to me in advance, so I'd love to get together with those. So now, of course, this is how we're going to turn one property into multiple and turn you into an awesome powerhouse investor. Okay. Now, question for you that I want to ask everyone that is here. Would you rather a deal with more cash flow, or B, would you rather a faster return on your investment? And just comment below. Comment A or B. Would you rather A, more cash flow in your deal, or B, faster return on your investment? Because that's really what we're talking about here. And it's an important concept to understand when we're investing. Do you want the return on your investment, or do you want more cash flow per month? Just comment below as we have that, okay? So this is the BRRRR strategy condensed. There's obviously several steps in between. There are also contractors you have to deal with, and managing a project, and all other issues that come up, of course. But this is where we're at. I hope that makes sense. It's a great tool, great opportunity, and the banks are active. The banks, as we know, rates have just come down a bit more for variable rate mortgages. So now it's just getting better and better and better time. Okay. Great. Thank you. All right. That's our BRRRR strategy. Text me for my BRRRR Analyzer Strategy sheet, the spreadsheet, and I'll send that over to you, and we can get that. Get you on the right path. So let me skip over to some questions. My weekly questions that some people have sent to me. I'd love to be able to answer them here, and let me run through them. Okay, first question, great. I love it. So first question asked here, how do you help clients build long-term real estate wealth? Okay, this is it. This is one of my favorite tools to help clients build long-term wealth. Obviously, everyone knows I'm a huge real estate fan. I'm a real estate bull, and this is how I help clients. Now we want to build, wealth through real estate, slowly, steadily, without any hiccups, without any issues. And that is typical residential rental real estate. It has a very low barrier to entry for most people. We can get into it. It makes sense for a lot of people, and it's very easy to do. And there's several ways that you make money. One, when you buy rental real estate, you obviously get the cash flow every month. Super important. So anywhere from $10 to $1,000 a month or more on every property. So you're going to get your monthly cash flow. You're going to have a tenant in there that's paying the house off and paying the mortgage down. So you're getting the equity build up in the property. So they're paying the house off over time for you. And of course, the other way, that's the easy way to describe today, is you get appreciation in the market. So does real estate always go up? No. Has real estate typically gone up over long term so far? Yes, it has. Okay. It's increased over time. We know that. We know that to be true. And as I've said many times, we all know people, friends, family members, neighbors, that they paid $40,000 for the house, and now they're going to sell it for, well, here in Brantford, average sales price right now, about $680,000. Okay. They paid $40,000 for that, $20,000 for that back in the day. And I expect that's just going to continue. So that's how we're going to build wealth. We're going to build real wealth. And as we know, most Canadians have the bulk of their wealth tied up in their home. Okay? That's where it's at. So we want to be able to leverage that and buy more real estate, increase the cash flow, have assets that will pay for themselves. A lot of people will say to me, well, I don't want to fix, leaky toilets. Well, I tell people, I don't get out in the middle of the night to go fix leaky toilets. I don't need to do that. And I have people that's their profession. Hire the plumber, they'll go fix it. They'll go get that done. That's what you need to do, and focus on being an investor. Okay. Post any comments below, any questions or ideas that you have. So that's how we're going to build long-term real estate wealth. The second thing, next question they ask here is, how do you determine what makes a property a good deal? So, well, for this property right here, for the BRRRR method to work, we want to know what the ARV is after repair. So we're primarily looking at properties that are poorly managed. We're looking at properties that need work. We're looking at properties that, in my personal preference, by the way, is not to buy a property that is completely decimated and needs too much work, because that there just can be a real time suck and cost way too much money, and there will be more surprises that pop up in that deal that you can imagine. So we want to avoid that. We want to stay away from that, especially when you're first starting. When you become more experienced and you can handle some of these larger deals, more in-depth deals, more technical, then definitely. And I have clients that's what they do as a, they do that daily as a contractor. These are easy. So for me, my favorite properties that I look for are the ones that really need paint, paper, easy stuff. New kitchens, new bathrooms, but we're talking vanities. We're talking about throwing a new bathtub. We're talking about throwing some kitchen cabinets, new flooring, new paint, new lighting. This is what I'm looking for. Okay. I always say, we want to go ahead and take a property that is ideally just aesthetically challenged. And by the way, one of my favorite aesthetics that is challenged on that people neglect is a dirty house. I will buy dirty houses all day long. Okay. I love dirty houses, and I'll work through the dirt. I'll work through the grime. That's not a problem. If you check out my Instagram, you check out some of my social media, you'll see I have some posted videos there of a deal that I'm doing right now. It's actually a rental, and I took 9 bins of garbage out of this property, 9 20-yard bins. There was dog feces. There's feces on the wall. The people that were living there were using the crisper in the refrigerator as their washer. Okay. That's the first time I've seen that. Maybe you've seen that more than me. I've never seen that before. They're using the crisper in the fridge as their washer. Now, their situation, it was sad, not good, scary, but it's reality, something I've had to deal with. So 9 bins out of that place. Looks like a different house, and we just started the project. We're getting into it. We're doing some other stuff to it, and we're going to make it look pretty again. But really, it's all cosmetic for the most part. Drywall, paint, flooring, kitchen cabinets, this kind of thing. But those are my favorite. Dirty houses, ideal. Okay. So how do I determine a property is a good deal? Well, obviously, we have to have a motivated seller. We want to find a property that, doesn't require that major renovation that some people look for, but I don't. I just want the aesthetics is ideal. And a property that we know that we can get lift on in terms of increased value. So just like my example before, bought it for $375, put $90K into it. We get the refinance for about $585 to $600. We know we can back out and get a refinance for 80%, and we know we got our money back, and we still have equity in the deal. Okay, we still have equity in the deal. So with that example there, I think what we've got $117,000 in equity still in the deal, and we get all of our money out of it that we refinanced. So it's pretty awesome. So that's a good deal. That is a home run. If you can do that, man, I'm telling you, I always ask investors, if we can do one of these, how many more do you want to do? How many more properties like this would you like to do? Okay, pretty awesome. Anyway, next comment or question I have here. Do you think it's better to buy now or wait for the interest rates to drop? Well, yesterday, interest rates, the Bank of Canada just reduced the prime lending rate down by 1/4 percentage point again. Okay, so great. That really helps out anybody who's on a line of credit, uses lines of credit, or a variable rate mortgage. So your mortgage payment is going to go down. The less interest your interest payment is going to go down every month, which is pretty awesome. I expect it's going to continue to go down That's really what I think is going to happen. The interest rates are probably going to continue to go down moving into the next year. The government tried to say that they're not, but I don't think they have a choice in that. They do not have a choice, and I think they're going to be forced to, because our economy seems to be tapering and seems to be having some challenges. So they're going to be trying to spur on some growth and spur on more investing. And the banks need to loan money. Keep that in mind. Banks need to loan money to be in business, and that's why they need to be active also. So now is a great time to buy. Moving in the future, I think now is a great time. Here in the Brantford market, that's what I can speak to. I'm seeing deals. I'm seeing houses that are sitting. I'm seeing houses that are dirty, houses that need work, that are sitting and no one's buying them. To me, that's a deal. That's something worth looking into and looking for. Okay. Last week actually this week on my market update, I identified a couple key areas where if you're looking for a deal, we can get you a deal. We can find you a great deal in a house. And I know that by the numbers, and I know we can find you a great deal there here in the Brantford area. So I think now is a buyer's market. I've just bought a couple properties myself over the past couple months. I'm looking to buy more. Okay. I'm looking to buy more properties that need work, that people are struggling with, people are challenging. And I'm also looking for deals where people want to do joint ventures on. So I have myself and have other clients that are investors that are looking for joint ventures. And if you're one of them, DM me also. Okay. DM me or text me is my better method. Text me at 226-400-7322. I'd love to hear from you. I would love to go ahead and do some joint ventures with people also. Okay. So that's good. So wait now or wait for the interest rates to drop. I don't know when the rates are going to drop, but right now they dropped yesterday. Now's a great time to buy. I think now getting active now is super, super important. Okay. Great. Drop any more questions that you have. If you like my BRRRR Analyzer Strategy sheet, text me or comment with the word invest. Would be awesome. Okay. Something that's near and dear to my heart, I want to talk to you about, and that's every time I sell a house, every time I help someone buy a house or help them sell it, I donate a portion of all my proceeds to local causes, local worthy causes here in my community. That's something that's important. A cause that's here in town that's near and dearest to my heart is the Brantford Blessing Center. Okay. So a quick shout out to the Brantford Blessing Center. They are doing some awesome work here in Brantford down there. And what they do, if you're not sure what the Brantford Blessing Center does, is they feed people that can't feed themselves. Okay. So every day on average, they service, or they feed about 150 people right here in Brantford. So if you need a meal, go there. Great people, great food, awesome resource for you. And anyone, if you're fortunate enough to go ahead and be able to help them out, I want you to help them out. That's what I'm asking. Obviously, by sending us business, I would love that. I'm never too busy for referrals. But also, if you just want to help in a small way, send enough to them for a meal. Okay. I'm going to include a link here after my video. I'll include a link, and they are trying to raise $1.2 million so they can purchase the building that they are in. Okay. So they're looking to go ahead and buy that building so they can continue their ministry moving forward well into the long into the future. So if you'd be willing just to give enough so they can get a meal, that would be amazing. Okay. I have a link here. I'm trying to raise as much money as I can for them. The money goes directly to them, doesn't go to me, doesn't go to any of my team at all. We're just looking to raise some money and hit some of our investing goals because I want to see them do well. They do some amazing work. So the Brantford Blessing Center, if you don't know who they are, go check them out. Check out the blessingcenter.org, I believe is their website. They do some great work and they would love your support. They're also doing a cold weather drive for hats, mittens, gloves, coats for the cold weather coming up. They're doing that right now. So if you have anything to donate, or if you're a business owner and you have excess stock that you're looking to get rid of, by all means, please donate, please help them out, because they've got people that, can't feed themselves, and coming in some cold weather, they're going to need more help than you and I can imagine. So just a huge shout out. We love them here and love to help them out. Okay. And of course, I would say, when you work with us, you're supporting our community also. I love this community, Brantford, an area, been raised here, lived here my whole life. I love it. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to live, and we're not without our challenges. We're not without our problems, but we're here, and individually we can help to solve them and help to make everything better. Okay. So I'm checking messages here. My messages on TikTok aren't working great, guys. So I want to apologize for that. I'm trying to balance them here. So if I don't get to your message here during our live, then what I'll do, if you just give me a minute, I'm going to check that again. Nope. I'm just checking my comments. It's not working quite right. Let's see. Okay, now I think it's working. Let's see. Anyway, so that's the BRRRR strategy. Okay, so I hope I explained that clearly for you and in this condensed time that I have. Okay, and it's a great tool. It's a great way to do investing. It's a great way to go ahead and build some real wealth here in real estate, and to change. You know, the big thing about real estate investing that I need to make clear to people, to all my clients I'd like to talk to this about, and the general public. If you're thinking about investing in real estate, we always think about how it's going to do for us. But I'll tell you what real estate does, and this is displayed through many people's lives, many wealthy people, and you can change your grandchild's life. Okay, you can change your unborn grandchild's life, your great niece, your great nephew, your extended family, long down your lineage. Okay, that's what real estate can do for you when you invest properly, you invest prudently, you take care of it, you manage your harvest, you manage your crop, and then you can harvest it. Okay, and you got to start somewhere. And investing in real estate is just like planting a tree. Okay, just like planting a tree. And the same old story is, when's the best time to plant a tree? Well, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. That's the best time to plant a tree. But what's the next best time to plant a tree? Well, that's today. Okay? Plant the tree today. That's what you want to do. And then in 20 years, you're going to look back and say, man, I'm so glad I did that. Man, my grandkids are going to have a total different trajectory than I did. It's going to bless you immensely. It is going to serve your family. It is not going to come without any problems. Okay? It's going to have its own challenges, but I promise you, over the long term, over the long haul, it's going to bless you immensely, just like it has mine and will for mine. Because I'm not stopping investing. It's not a one-time thing. Investing is a process. Investing is a long-term process, and it is certainly something I love. So I think it's certainly something I'm passionate about. And any of my clients and friends know that. Once they get me on this topic, then I won't shut up. So anyway, post your comments below, DM me, or of course, text invest to me. And I'll send you over my BRRRR strategy, my BRRRR Analyzer Spreadsheet. I'd like to get that to you, and I'm going to show you just how I quickly do that. Okay. Thanks for watching. Ask the Marshall. Text invest to 226-400-7322 for the spreadsheet. We have VTB friendly deals, and if you are looking to go ahead and book an investor strategy call with me, text me directly, text invest to me now, and we'll book a quick phone call. Only take 10 minutes. And I'd love to go ahead and give you some details on how you can become an investor, how you can move from where you're at to where you want to go, and give you some great ideas. Okay. Keep in mind, I'm live here every Friday at 1 p.m. Lord willing. I will be back, and I look forward to hearing from you. Happy Halloween. Go Toronto Blue Jays. And we look forward to going ahead and building together. All right. Have a great day. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll talk soon.